You're sitting at your desk, and remember you have one last bag of your favorite crisps in the kitchen. So you walk downstairs, enter the kitchen, and wait, it's already been opened and half the crisps are missing. Now you can make one of four choices. A. Bin the crisps as an act of anger. B. Buy more crisps and be happy with the new bag. C. Eat what's remaining while angry and frustrated. Or D. Leave the crisps happy you avoided the unhealthy snack. Now let's take a closer look into these four options. We will group them into choices of an optimist and choices of a pessimist. It is here where we will encounter interesting contradictions. Both choices A and D, despite being grouped differently, ultimately result in the person not eating the crisps. Similarly, choices B and C result in the person eating the crisps, therefore satisfying the initial craving, upon the context that the person has a craving to eat the crisps and, despite some being eaten, had the opportunity to. It's reasonable to assume that those who followed choices A and D are pessimistic, because they didn't make the choices which would satisfy their initial craving, despite it being possible too. The next logical question one would ask is, why does that make them a pessimist? Does choosing not to eat crisps make you pessimistic? There is a very foundational assumption that must first be assumed to come to that conclusion. And before we explore those foundational assumptions, let's understand the parallels between the crisp scenario and the half-filled glass scenario. Firstly, the basis of each scenario is to identify optimists and pessimists. Those who believe the glass is half full are considered an optimist, and those who believe the glass is half empty are considered a pessimist. These align with our different choices between A to D. An optimist, by definition, is a person who tends to be hopeful and confident about the future or the success of something. A pessimist is a person who tends to see the worst aspect of things, or believe that the worst will happen. Without getting too philosophical here, we must understand the first foundational assumption, which is that seeing a half-empty glass is to see the worst aspect, rather than the more hopeful point of view that it is half full. Gamergirl 007. An optimist will look at it and say, it's half full. Like, oh hey, bonus, I found a glass of water and it's half full. That's wonderful. Always thinking the best in every situation. A pessimist will look at it as half empty. So in the same scenario, they will think, well crap, I found this glass of water but it's already half empty. Always thinking the worst in every situation. So it depends on who you ask. This Reddit user clearly encapsulates this assumption. Though interestingly, notice how the user adds context to each statement to explain why they view it that way. This is the most important point of the entire question, which is heavily overlooked. We need the additional context of whether they are being hopeful or seeing the worst of the glass half filled. That is actually what we're judging when we assign them the term optimist or pessimist based on their answer. Now, let's circle back to the foundational assumption we made and see how it is inherently flawed. To do that, we will take a look at these two scenarios. Scenario 1. Bob wants to drink milk. He is offered a half-filled glass of water and is happy. Since Bob wanted to drink milk in the first place, he is glad that it is half empty. He will have less water to drink before he can refill the glass with milk. Scenario 2. Sandra wants to drink water. She is offered a half-filled glass of water and is upset. Since Sandra wanted to drink water, she is upset the glass is only half full, as she doesn't believe it will be enough to quench her thirst. We would therefore assume Bob to be an optimist since he is happy the glass is half empty, and conversely assume Sandra to be a pessimist since she's upset the glass is only half full. This is the paradoxical nature of the half-filled glass scenario that everyone seems to overlook. Now coming full circle back to our crisp scenario, let's take a look at why the unexpected answers make sense. It is in fact the bracketed phrases in A to D that reveal the motivational framing. That framing is the decisive factor in calling a person optimistic or pessimistic. The action, eat or don't eat, is neutral. The attitude inside the brackets determines whether the act aligns with optimism or pessimism. Choice A, bin the crisps as an act of anger. Anger explicitly focuses on the loss and frustration of it. The person interprets the missing crisps as evidence of wrongdoing, injustice, and defeat. This is equivalent to seeing the glass as half empty because the missing half is bad. The action of binning it is an outward expression of that negative frame. Choice B, buy more crisps and be happy with the new bag. The solution-oriented happiness shows the person treats the missing crisps as a solvable problem. That's classic optimism. View a setback as fixable, take action, and reframe the outcome positively. Choice C, eat what's remaining while angry and frustrated. Anger and frustration persisting despite getting the reward shows the negative frame remains active even while the craving is satisfied. That mirrors the principle that pessimism can persist even when outcomes are objectively met, since they still see the worst of the situation. Choice D, leave the crisps, happy you avoided the unhealthy snack. Reframing as a benefit shows the person's willingness towards meeting a higher goal, health and self-control. That is optimistic framing. Identical action to A, not eating, but the opposite mindset. So what do you see when your crisps are half eaten and the glass is only half filled? Perhaps your answer is much more nuanced now, maybe even surprising your family and friends. So subscribe for more videos like this.